So we're finishing prepping this for epoxy primer. Got that sanded down. Got this all sanded, ready for epoxy primer. We also, I don't know why we had got a bug up, or you know what, and we started chipping the rest of the undercoating out. So we got 90% of the undercoating out from underneath here. Now we're down to the original metal. Found a little more rust, of course. 2 little spots and 1 little back there, so 3, which is kind of typical. But making headway. Sanded this here. It's kind of hard standing here doing it. Really need to get this body off the frame, but and as you can see, we got this. We showed you this before. Need to get this body off the frame, but next thing is to epoxy prime everything, all these lower bare spots, and then do the body work. Finish our body work, get our body work like 90%, get it in a high build primer, and then what we're going to do is pull the car out, turn it around, leave it at about, it's about 18 inches off the wall over there now. We'll probably put it about 2 feet off the wall so we can put braces under it, pull the motor, pull the trans, and then pull the body off the frame. And we're going to try to get the body up like horse height, which is about, you know, 2.5, 3 feet, so we can do more work underneath. I'm not going to scrape all the undercoating underneath the car. I really wasn't going to do the wheel well, but it was kind of flaky and it came off fairly easy. So, but making headway, and we'll show you everything once we get it primed, and we'll go from there. So we're getting ready to put some epoxy primer on the bottom of this door, and hopefully this cowl area right here that I did. Got the seam sealer on, everything's seam sealed up, and maybe right in here. I'm not using the epoxy I bought yet, because I got to see if the gun that I have sprays it. I have 3 different guns. I have another gun coming tomorrow, but I'm going to try to spray it through this gun. I found some old epoxy primer that I had, old Napa, which is Martin Senior paints. It's epoxy primer. I had the activator and everything. So we're going to try to spray that and see if it works. I don't want to waste the new stuff. We'll try it on these areas that aren't seen, and we'll go from there. It is 73 degrees in here, so it's nice and toasty. And we cleaned our respirator. We're letting it air out in front of the fan. Heat is cranking. If this goes okay, then we will epoxy prime the rest of our bare metal parts with the other stuff. So we'll show you as we go. All right, here we go. We're gonna try to get some paint on this. Try to bear with me while I'm talking. We got the gun set up, and let's plug it in. Gonna plug it in here. Got our air pressure set. Should be good, hopefully. Let's see what happens. Start laying it down. So we'll put a mist coat on first, and then we'll come back behind it and put a heavier coat on. We don't have a lot of paint in here, so we want to go easy. See what we can do here. All right, that's the first mist coat, and we'll let that pack up for about 15-20 minutes, and we will hit it again. Hopefully we have enough paint. All right. So we got 3 coats of epoxy primer on the bottom of this door. Like I said, we use the old stuff I have. Things are getting a little tricky in here. We're getting tight on room, but we're gonna attempt to do this Raptor epoxy, which is supposed to be super anti-corrosive. So we're gonna try it. Still have a little bit left of the old stuff in the gun. Like I said, we did the cal, it wrinkled right there, but it doesn't matter. Once it dries and sets up, it'll... But I did this bottom rocker panel also. So we got that done, and underneath, and everything else we're gonna do with the Raptor liner epoxy. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the leftover epoxy that I have in the can, and I'm gonna brush it in this. I sanded all this, wiped it all down, and I'm gonna actually brush it in there to get a heavy coat in there before we put our urethane seam sealer in there. And then all this will get painted with the other epoxy primer. This gotta wait till the door dries, we'll flip it over, prep that. So like I said, we're gonna try this other stuff. The gun seems to be working great, like I said, other than running out of room, but that's just part of working in a small garage. So we'll figure it out, we'll get it done, and we'll show you once we get 1 coat on all of this stuff, on how that other stuff lays out. Hopefully it goes well. First coat's on. It's just misted, but we'll get this second coat on, lay it out a little heavier, and see what it looks like. I think it's going pretty good though. I'll show you once we're finished. So we got 3 coats of the epoxy primer on everything. Actually looks better than I thought it would, surprisingly. Quarter panel is a little not as great as I want, but it looks really good. I did put it on a little heavy up here. There's a little bit of a run, but it's all gonna get sanded off anyway, not a big deal. And trunk came out good. So now we can do our body filler, the door, everything laid out nice on the door. So what we do is we'll scuff that probably with like 100 grit. Once it sets up, it takes 4 to 6 hours at 70 degrees. But we're not going to do anything today, and probably not even tomorrow. So we'll probably not do anything till Thursday. So by then it'll be cured for sure. The heat obviously helps, but it's not as critical. It dries chemically. So we'll leave the fan on. We're going to leave the heat on for the rest of the day, and we'll come back later tomorrow or this evening and shut the heat off, and we'll start doing body filler, which is a good thing. So all right, well, everything is epoxy prime now, and body filler's next. Womp womp. Well, good morning on this crisp, cool day. We are started body filler this morning. We got 1 coat on the trunk lid, going well, just 1 coat. 1 coat on the door, and then we have 2 coats on this quarter panel. The quarter panel's being a little tricky. There's a lot of angles, a lot of different contours of it. So, but we're getting it straight. And that's the thing. The whole thing is to get it straight. And like I said before, with body filler, your whole panel really gets skimmed. People don't realize it. We're just cutting it right now with some 80 grit by hand. Do have a air file, using that a little bit, but really doing it mostly by hand. It does cut pretty easy. We're using the U-Paul Gold lightweight body filler. Seems to be really good, sands really well, and all in all, going good. It just takes time, and we have time, so haven't touched the fender yet. Fender's not too bad, so we're trying to, biggest thing today is to get this quarter panel straight. Haven't touched anything down here yet, and getting ready to put a second coat on the trunk lid, second coat on the door, and third coat on the quarter panel. So next coat, we're going to be sanding this a little bit smoother, probably get out these low spots, and hopefully on this quarter panel we'll get this shaped a little bit more. But all in all, it's going pretty well. Had a high spot there where that bullet hole was, but I think we got that beat down now. So we will pick you up on the next coat and show you how things go, and we'll go from there.